Most of the methods that we're using at the VA are more traditional methods, such as cognitive behavioral therapy, cognitive processing therapy, prolonged exposure, EMDR, group therapies, therapies where we're teaching specific skills and ways of managing emotions.
But also in the complementary and alternative realm of medicine, there's some outstanding things that are out there.
These alternative therapies have grown by leaps and bounds in their understanding and their techniques of how to really help with this problem.
Working out relieves a lot of stress.
Taking a bike ride, taking a walk, getting some regular exercise, it's going to do wonders.
I don't drink, don't smoke, do smoke pot every morning. I have a cup of coffee, newspaper, and a nice bowl of weed. That's to stop anything that's going to start that morning. I just cut it short.
There's other types of therapies that have been really helpful. Some forms of art therapy have been really helpful. Yoga therapy.
Yoga is a tough sell to the military population, especially to the men, but I could tell you it is the fountain of youth.
Meditation, mindfulness, those types of things. And a lot of those are actually being integrated into more traditional therapies at this point.
Massage, as long as your medical doctor is telling you it's not going to do continued damage, go get a massage.
One major area is equine therapy, has been very successful with the veteran population.
What an outdoor experience can get you is to get you out of your head and into the world, to actually smell what is out there, to feel the cool of a stream, to get your hands in the dirt and plant something. These are things that can help get us out of our heads and back into the world. What better way to bring you back to yourself than to reconnect to something that might be even bigger than yourself, the great outdoors. To shift that focus and know that there's more out there that can do a lot more than someone like myself might be able to do for you.
So I think it's most important for veterans to find the treatment that fits them, because we all have a different path. And the path to recovery isn't right or wrong. It's not designated by anybody but the person walking it.
Each individual is different, and so these alternative types of treatments, whether it can be acupuncture, all need to be explored because everybody can be treated.
With treatment, people can get much better. We know that suicides decrease significantly. We know that substance abuse decreases significantly. We know that self-harming behavior decreases significantly, and people can become more connected with their communities and their family members through treatment, and that's really what it's all about.
Wounded Warrior USA is a nonprofit that takes active duty wounded warriors fishing. We bring soldiers out here at the serenity of this quiet, peaceful place, surrounded by all the pine trees, mountains, and of course the water.
It's really peaceful, it's really nice, and it's really great to see big smiles, you know, just having some quiet time and just getting out in nature.
What it does, it's the excitement, it's the adrenaline flow that they experience to hooking up with that fish, fighting that fish, bringing it in the shore. It gives them a sense of accomplishment.
Today's the first time I actually held a fish in a long time, so that's a good thing. Having to hold the fish without having gloves on, that's real progress. So this is therapy, I guess, because it's nice and calm and relaxing, but also getting over some of my fears of touching things and stuff. So
the serenity of this ranch and the water, watching the ripples come across, quiets the mind to the point of there's no interference. There's nothing else to concentrate on or focus on.
Fishing has been a great relief for my husband from his PTSD. He's able to get into an open environment where there's very few people, really be able to focus one-on-one with himself or today with the kids and be able to enjoy teaching them how to fly fish.
We're confident that this program works. At Fort Carson, one of the commanding officers over the years was asking us what we did to his soldiers, and we responded by saying we have fun and we catch fish. And he says, whatever you're doing, don't stop, because we're seeing results in these soldiers and their rehabilitation process.
Well, I got 2 to shore, but then there was a third one that took my bait and hook and everything. Yeah, he must have been 3 feet long, I don't know. He's the one that got away.
We're committed to helping soldiers, active duty soldiers and veterans with PTSD and TBI.
Caught a fish today. Good day.
I think a lot of times the horses pick us, and we don't pick the horses.
They know your emotions. You can't hide them.
You must be in a good place, you must.
They're like 30 times more sensitive to what's going on inside.
My life was saved by a horse. That's what started this whole program. I had no idea that horses could do what they do. Pick a spot against that rail and leave a space between horses, all right? Do whatever you have to get that horse calm. Our program is called Combat Veterans Cowboy Up. When I first realized what these horses were doing for me, I decided, you know what? Maybe these horses can help other veterans. So that's when the program started. Drop that lead rope, and all of you have to back off like 20 feet and stop, and all those horses have to stay ground hitched without moving their feet. Horses can be really, super therapeutic for veterans who have suffered some type of trauma while they were in the military.
Before this program, I contemplated suicide many times.
Many of us have been very close to taking our lives. I tried.
And by the grace of God, I found a program like this.
We'll relate that to some human experience. Through the horses, using the horses as the medium, we start teaching different therapies and tools and techniques for the veterans that they can use in their life out there in their human herd, but they learn it from the horses, from dealing with the horses.
If I can learn to treat and be calm around a horse, I can take those skills around humans and family members and friends.
I think what's happened to us, because of the traumas and all the military training and everything, is we've kind of swung over to that reactive side of our brain, and that's where we're spending way too much time. Almost 130 clients have come through the program, veterans. The success rate is phenomenal. Those who have fully participated in the program, which is at least 10 sessions, have had an experienced recovery that has never been seen before.
I don't think in one session you're going to get healed, because this is more of like a holistic type healing. It takes time and it takes consistency. So I think it's something you have to come back, because each week we may learn one thing that'll help you with children. One week it'll help you in crowds.
If you isolate a horse completely from the herd, totally, they can't, miles and miles away from any other horses, that horse's health, both physical and mental, take a nosedive, and it can kill the horse. It can kill the horse. We are the same way. Even though we're predators and have a human herd, our tendency as veterans with PTSD and all these issues going on, we have a tendency to isolate ourselves from our human herd, and guess what? That can kill us too. It's the most devastating thing we do to ourselves, isolation. Thinking that we're staying away from all the threats and that, but we're really just tearing ourselves apart. It's that isolation can kill, just like it does the horse. It's tremendously therapeutic, and it's helping our clients move much further in recovery than traditional therapy alone can do.
To build relationships not only with the horses but the veterans here has helped me tremendously to continue to build relationships with my family and friends.
I know it saved me.
We bring in about 30 individuals from around the country with varying degrees of both physical and mental and emotional injuries. They are primarily from post 9/11 combat duty. We teach them golf, whether they're absolute beginners or they've been playing golf their entire life and they're trying to reintegrate back into the game after these injuries, trying to learn how to deal with these injuries and continue to play golf.
The sport of golf is the only sport you only depend on yourself. No matter how mad you get at the ball, the club, you only have yourself. And that's why I think a lot of service members that's dealing with issues tend to gravitate towards golf.
With some of these guys that are trying to heal a traumatic brain injury, trying to heal from post-traumatic stress, we're trying to rework some of these motor patterns. On a physical level, this training that we're doing with their nervous system is activating parts of the brain that may not otherwise be activated, and they're doing it in a way that's fully aware, fully conscious, with a specific goal in mind. They're getting feedback from their bodies, from the golf ball, from the golf swing itself. So I think there's a physical aspect there of healing some of these injuries.
Golf, to me, it's relaxing. 95% of the time, it's quiet. You hear the birds chirping, it's relaxing. And I like being in that relaxing state where it's back in nature. And also, I think golf is really fun.
I think there's also a mental and emotional aspect that's extremely important in the game of golf. To play the game of golf successfully, you need to be mentally present in the moment. You need to be emotionally somewhat detached. You know, you need to accept a negative consequence and be able to move past it.
Because I miss the ball a lot. Like, me and the ball are not friends. We're not.
I think gaining that perspective, or maybe strengthening that perspective, I think is especially important to these guys as well.
If I'm having a horrible day or horrible week, I know Saturday or Sunday, I'm going golfing. I'm gonna relax, I'm gonna have a good time, and it's gonna help bring me back down to where I need to be.
That's why I love the game of golf, because it teaches me about life. I know that seems really, really deep, but it really does.
These guys are so inspiring to me, the adversity that they're facing in their daily lives, and just watching them come out here with humor and grace, and they offer me thanks, and I'm almost embarrassed to accept their thanks because I'm trying to thank them for what they've given to our country.
Monster is Jason's service dog. He is able to get out into the community with him on a daily basis. He truly provides Jason stability, and mostly he gets him out, making him feel safe, being able to focus more on the dog than on the surroundings.
The thing I've discovered with Jethro, because originally he was just supposed to wake me up when I had nightmares, but since he actually barks when people walk by the house and things, I've actually discovered that just having him around makes me feel safe enough that I really don't have the nightmares all that often anymore. So I'm gonna say out of everything, that's probably the best thing he does for me, is just make me feel more confident.
Friends come and go, but a dog, they stay with you for life. No matter what, he's always there for me. He means a world to me.
Without the dog, Jason was unable to leave the house without me. When we're in difficult, stressful environments such as crowds, stadiums, arenas, he will really focus on the dog. You'll see them face to face, him talking to the dog. The dog really pays attention to him at that point and knows that he's really needed.
I can't speak for other veterans, but I know for me, when I'm in a dark area and you don't feel like, being touchy and feely, the dog senses that. He knows, hey, wait a minute, he's not into it. If I stare out into space and I start having like a flashback, evidently he knows because he starts licking me.
People are more forgiving about my character flaws, I guess, when I have the dogs around. It lets people know that there's a reason why I'm behaving the way I am, and it makes people more accepting and more tolerant of my eccentricities, I guess you'd say.
They're calm, they're very loving, and when you tell them to do something, most of the time, they do it.
They're just amazing. They help. They've done more for me than anything, period. I mean, more than the medications or anything else, the dogs really helped a lot.
The Vietnam Memorial in Washington, D.C. is a form of therapy, as they are able to finally reconnect with their lost buddies that are on the wall. And for many guys, it takes years and years and years to finally make that step. And now, as a volunteer at the wall, I see guys there every day that appear to have PTSD, or certainly have, emotional problems. Of course, the wall is a very emotional place.
It's a very healing process. It's spiritual, it's mental, it's physical, it's psychological. It brings all those elements together, and they're able to experience the joy of surfing.
We are hosting the first ever Adaptive World Surfing Championship, which brings 18 nations, 69 competitors from the 5 continents.
Operation AMP is a non-profit veterans organization, and we focus on using surf therapy and surf healing for our wounded warriors and disabled veterans suffering from traumatic brain injury, post-traumatic stress disorder, and amputations.
The ocean is as the place where life started, and the ocean is a nurturing place. Salt water has wonderful things it does to your body, to your soul, and this has been known for thousands of years. A lot of people that haven't been in the ocean, when they come to the ocean, their life changes, their face changes, their smile changes, their mind, their soul changes.
It's a cleansing process. It washes their worries away, their issues away. It gives them a chance to finally breathe. And that's really what surfing does. And then, when you get out there, you have that water, wind, waves, sun, and the power of the waves, on you, then you have a singular focus. You're out there, and you're close to nature, you're close with your thoughts, and you can not worry about the pain, the depression, or, what am I going to do with my life, in the next day or two. It just kind of gets put aside in favor of you being in the ocean. So it's a very therapeutic, calming, and enriching experience.
There are doctors right now that are prescribing surfing as a rehab, not just for injuries, but also for mental difficulties. So surfing is right now is not just an activity, it's a cure.
So now we're able to do that for our veterans.
I would like to be able to bring hope to the people that don't have hope today. So if you are a veteran and you think that, life is coming, to a dark tunnel and you don't see light, come to the ocean and it will give you hope.
There's help out there, guys and gals. There's a way out, and if you can, get a hold of Operation AMP or any other organization that will get you in the water, and I'm telling you, it'll be a life-changing experience.
I started my photography while I was in country, and when I came back it certainly became a therapy tool before I even knew it was a therapy tool. Taking pictures means to me a way to enjoy kids playing, or wounded warriors adapting and skiing again, or being out on a hiking trail by myself. Taking pictures of nature and landscapes, and it's a way, after a hard day, to get my mind off of things and kind of just go into my happy place.
This is dirt therapy, where you grow green tomatoes. They're just as good as red tomatoes. See these? You can take these and fry these, and anybody ever had fried green tomatoes, this is it. I grow my own food. I got my own garden. That was one of my therapies to go. Me and my wife, we grow a garden every year. That takes a lot of pressure off of us. And that's what we do every year. I grow string beans. Tomatoes 7 feet, tall as he is now. I got peppers, I got chili peppers, and we have marigolds. These keep the bugs off of our green vegetables. You're watching something grow. My wife get out here and we get in the dirt, and look what comes up. Because you're creating new life. You're not taking a life, you're creating a life. And we call creating food creating a life, because you got to live. But this is my therapy, one of them. It beats drinking, and it's healthy for us. I'm 69 years old. I like to eat a lot of vegetables, a lot of fruit. And this is what we do. This was my therapy. This took away a whole lot, because I'm creating something, growing it.
For a veteran who's gone through a traumatic experience, their body actually creates an armor. And it's a real physical process where the muscles tighten up and will actually cement to the layers of skin and fascia around it. The muscles become hypertonic, they push out their blood supply and become ischemic, and this will cause extreme pain and limited range of motion. The muscles have forgotten how to relax. They can't make that connection between mind and body to make the mind relax those muscles. So through massage and body work, I try to release the trauma that is buried deep in these muscles.
I liked it because I was able to kind of meditate and concentrate just on that one feeling. And when you do that, you put everything else out of your mind, and that really helps.
Veterans that present with PTSD usually come in with a whole lot of mind chatter. It's where the brain, it just continues to evolve and revolve, and over and over again, replaying the trauma that they have witnessed, that they have lived through. The singing bowls actually speak the language of the brain, which is frequency. Busy brains put out busy beta brain waves, and when brains get around these big circles of sound, they tend to entrain or slow down to an alpha theta state or the meditative state. And for a veteran with PTSD, this is an amazing phenomenon because it can bring them out of that point where their mind is chattering and they're replaying their trauma to a point of peace.
I concentrated on the sound at one time, and then I concentrated on the vibration at another time. And I didn't let anything else enter my mind at that point, and it really worked well.
They witness the present moment. It brings them into the present and helps them center and helps them ground into their bodies. It's an amazing experience.
Beautiful day to come rafting. I should come along. Woo! And we're off.
We believe that when the service member serves overseas, when they deploy, that the whole family is actually deploying and serving with them.
When the service member comes back, if he has PTSD, if he has any issues, the entire family is going to be affected by that.
We see secondary post-traumatic stress in children and the spouses, and the whole family needs to heal. Project Sanctuary is a 2-year program that focuses on healing the military family.
We offer a 6-day retreat for families, the entire family, to unwind, to reconnect with each other, to have fun, to de-stress, to forget about, for 6 days, what goes on at home every day.
The therapeutic healing environment is key. It needs to be in a safe place, a sanctuary. Oftentimes our retreats are in a mountain or in a secluded location so that these families feel safe, so that the healing can begin.
We are there to help. We are there to help the family come together and understand the troubles that the veteran is going through.
You ever have PTSD moments? Rages and stuff? Oh, yeah. You ever explain to your kids why this is going on?
One of our goals at Project Sanctuary is to help these families go from battle ready to family ready, to help them return to the communities and help them to continue to serve.
We offer recreational activities. We offer kids activities.
We also have a lot of therapeutic classes, healthy marriage, financial classes. We've developed our very own post-traumatic stress class, which has been really powerful.
To see the kids realize that there are other kids their age whose parents act this way, or whose parent who was in the service acts the same way, is really powerful.
We can't heal everybody and fix everything in 6 short days. So it's really important that we follow these families back for 2 years, that they know that they have another advocate out there. They have another avenue of support, more tools, so that they can be successful in returning back to their communities. With Project Sanctuary, our success rates are pretty outstanding, and that's because we empower the families. As of today, almost 600 families, 90% are still married. The national average for military divorces is more than 70%.
Daddy, you want a marshmallow?
More than 600 families have attended one of our programs, and we're proud to say that not one of our participants has ever committed suicide.
Nationwide, at least 22 veterans a day kill themselves. We are at 0 suicides. We count the veteran, the spouse, and all the kids. We have 0. Kind of hard to beat those odds. whatever we're doing is working. And it is amazing.
Many of these soldiers are injured in numerous ways. They have physical injuries that are quite obvious, but some of them have a deep, deep pain from watching their soldier brothers and sisters die or seeing death on other forms, and it wears on their heart and mind. I find that the guitar helps the person relax and introduces them to just the joy of music.
It's very therapeutic to learn how to play that guitar, create music. It helps tone down their triggers, really. The things that set off my soldiers that with post-traumatic stress, they're very anxious about crowds, they're anxious about strangers, they're anxious about a lot of things. The therapeutic value that they get through learning how to play guitar and making music is invaluable.
Most of the time I can just shut off everything and go into my own world, and I can just feel the notes and the harmonies of playing the guitar and how it just takes all the pain away and everything, and I don't think about anything else.
When you come back from deployment, you know, a lot of these soldiers are going through tough times, and it allows them to express their feelings, whether it's writing lyrics to go along with their songwriting, playing along with it on the guitar.
For my post-traumatic stress soldiers, learning how to play a song, learning these skills helps them with the issues that they deal with when handling their post-traumatic stress.
Once I had a cell phone ring and I got upset and popped it down on the table, and this one warrior jumped about 6 inches off his chair. So I think there's many, many other things involved that these soldiers are dealing with. Pain, memories, PTSD, anxiety. And all of these things can be spoken to with guitar. I think the vibrations that the instrument makes against their body and the strings, singing not only to the room but to their soul, helps them to relax and makes them realize that no matter what they're going through, that they can work it out. And together, we will work it out. And I think that's what I'm finding in working with guitars with these fantastic warriors.
In a war zone, there's a lot of terribly visually traumatic and auditorily traumatic things that happen to individuals in addition to physical blasts to their brain. And this extreme, if you will, emotional trauma is believed to trigger a lot of biochemical processes in the emotional regulation centers, which are actually organic brain disease. So this emotional trauma actually on a cellular level turns into a physical ailment that we can treat. The idea that a seriously disabled, anxiety paralyzed, suicidal veteran with PTSD has, quote, sustained just an emotional injury is completely inaccurate. When they see physical evidence, it is validation that they weren't making these things up, which so often they've been accused of by the system, if you will. At a certain frequency in the red spectrum, the so-called near-infrared spectrum, is able to have healing effects on human tissue. What we're doing here at Seroscan, we're employing something called near-infrared light or low-level light therapy in the near-infrared spectrum applied with LEDs, which are been shown to be very safe. We're applying those to the skull. The near-infrared light acts on hemoglobin and red blood cells and on the lining of blood vessels to release nitric oxide. Now, nitric oxide has a very therapeutic and healing effect in the human body. It causes vasodilation locally. It'll dilate the arteries in that area to bring more glucose and more oxygen. We've added the biomarker, if you will, of the brain blood flow brain scan to show actual improvements in brain blood flow with this treatment. We've seen amazing progress. We've seen 180-degree turnarounds. For so long, it's been a labor of love because we haven't really had anything that really worked. And now we're on the verge of having something that really does work and makes a difference. And so it's really great for me personally to be able to help these folks.